Hello everybody, this is Saturn Blue and today we're going to be wrapping up the Arsenal tier list series. I've covered the maps and the modes already, and today we're going to finish it off with the maps. Did I say maps already? I feel like I said that instead of guns. But anyways, let's get started. So the first map is called Agency and it's right here. I'd have to give Agency an A. There are moments when it's annoying and I can't really find enemies, but overall it's a really good map. You know, you got the stairs and you can go up on the bridges, snipe people off of it. It's really fun. You got the luggage checker that lets you know when enemies are nearby, and it's really interesting concept. It lets you know when enemies are there. And overall it's a pretty fun and small map. I like smaller maps over bigger maps, so Agency is overall really good. Now this next one's called Aircraft. Aircraft is overall a middle tier map, I would say. You know, it's got a lot of those shipment containers and there's a lot of like tunnels through there. People really like to go on top of like the building area and just hide behind the railings and stuff. And there's really long lines of sight too. And it can be a little bit annoying, but overall it's not too bad of a map. There's nothing really wrong with it. It's a little bit bigger, but because some lines of sight are covered up, it's not as much of an issue. Now the next map we got coming up is Assalto. Assalto is also B. It's a bit bigger. It's a reskin of a former map. I believe that former map was just called Assault. But yeah, they added a train that can kill you now, but I've never really gotten killed by it, so I don't really care. And it's kind of cool anyways to see a train on there. There's a lot of high up areas that you can get to and just absolutely destroy teams. And now there's a new area you can get to as well. There's like the buildings you can get on top of in the middle of the map, and it can be a lot of fun. So overall it's B tier. I give it B because it's a little bit bigger than some other maps. Boulevard. For big maps, I would give this an exception, Boulevard, because the places in it you can get a lot of cover, like the truck, and it's really fun being able to peek people from across the map, and it can really test certain weapons' range and stuff. You'll have to have better aim because you're gonna have to snipe people from across the map, because the lines of sight on this map are extremely long. But even though it has long lines of sight, it's actually not bad for a big map, and I actually enjoy it quite a bit. This one's called Coastal. It's not a map that I play like a whole lot. Like if there's a better map for it, I would like never vote for this, but overall it's not a bad map. You know, there's just houses everywhere. People like to go on top of the houses, and there's one area with the stairs where if you're on top of it, obviously you're gonna have a height advantage, but you can just cut around. Overall, not too big of a map either, so that makes it a bit better. It's pretty small, and that makes it easier to get around the map. Next map is Dizzy. I would give Dizzy an S tier easily because it's just so small and chaotic, and you can really manipulate the spawns easily, and it's really fun to do that. You know, you can just go into the other spawns or get on top of these little parts right here to the highest parts of the map and just destroy everybody coming out from spawn, and they can't do anything about it. It's a lot of fun. This next one is Height Frights. I'll give Height Frights a C, just because it's so big and I don't like big maps. It's got a lot of weird carnival things on it, like this Ferris wheel, you can get on top of it. But the map is just big and it requires a lot of running to get to any action, so I don't really like Height Frights as much. Lodgeworks. I'd give Lodgeworks a B. It's kind of, I would say it's like a medium-sized map. It's fairly simple. People spawn on different sides of the house, and you can go through the middle, you can go around through a different entrance. You can like, there's a couple of different ways to cut around the middle instead of going straight through, and it's really fun. The spawns are easy to understand most of the time. But yeah, it's not like anything too crazy, it's just a pretty normal map. Now Matrix is the opposite of that, and Matrix is completely crazy. It's a S tier. And I love small crazy maps like that, you know? Chances are, if you spawn, you still might get shot. You might not be able to do anything, but that's what makes it fun. The chaos, there's a beauty hidden somewhere in the chaos, you know? That's what this map is. It's got the little window here. People try to jump off of it and stuff, and you can just snipe them out of the air. Spawns are really simple. Everything is like in the corners, and you can get some crazy feeds and clips on this map. And it's also great for 1v1s. Now this map is called Midtown. Midtown is pretty fun. I've actually enjoyed Midtown. It's a little bit of a longer map, but there's some cover covering the long lines of sight, so it's not that bad. You got a bunch of cars and stuff, and the spawns are really easy to understand. Most of the time, people just spawn on other sides of the map. Of course, as we all know, Arsenal spawn can get kind of broken sometimes, but you know, that's what makes it fun. That's why there's like extra spawns. Some people spawn like at the top areas in the very back of the map, and it can get really chaotic, and I think that's why I like this map. This next map is Monastery. This is not what it looks like right now. This is the Hackula version. I would give Monastery a D. Initially I would have given it an F because before it got updated, you couldn't shoot through the flowers, you couldn't shoot through the glass. It would, or not the glass, sorry, the grass. Yes, the grass would block your bullets, and you could not shoot through these, and it was really annoying. If it was still like that, I would easily give it an F, but I give it the D. I give it the D because it's kind of a big map, but also you have to go around. Like, there's no fast way to cut through the map. Like, it always takes a lot of time, and it can get really dragged out and annoying. I want a map that just has a lot of action, like Dizzy or Matrix, not like having to walk across the map every single time. This next one is called Mountain Village, I believe. I think I would give it a B. Overall, not a terrible map. It's a little bit larger, which can drag out the game a little bit sometimes because it's harder to find action. But there's a lot of ways to cut through the middle of the map, so that's why it's not as dragged out as, say, like Monastery. And that's why I would have to bump it up to a B. Beach. Beach is easily an S tier. It's very well made. You know, the spawns are pretty small, the spawn areas, and you can easily go into there and just tear up people. And also the middle area is really big with long lines of sight, and at the same time it's kind of small and congested, and it is just really chaotic, and I really love Beach. It's one of my favorite maps, obviously, because I put it in S tier. Now, this next one is called Hillside. Hillside is decent, B. I would give it a B because, again, long lines of sight, it's kind of a big map, and it can get kind of annoying how everybody's just sniping each other. But once again, there's a lot of ways to cut through. You can go in between the buildings, you can take the stairs, the higher stairs that make you go up higher near the tops of the buildings, or you could take the other staircases that make you go down below, like near the beach area, and just cut the enemy spawn from there, and it's really fun to do that. And you can just try and predict where people are cutting, so yeah, it's not as dragged out. Ruins, honestly, I hate this map way more than Monastery. I think it's the only map I would honestly put in F. I just absolutely hate this map. It's relatively new, but it's just way too big in my opinion. Like, the lines of sight are huge, the spawns are all the way across the map, and the map itself is just gigantic, and then people can like run on top of the bones and just camp on there, and it can get really annoying. Like, getting action is not as easy because you have to do so much more running, and people can just literally shoot across at each other. But if you have a weapon like a projectile weapon, then it gets even more annoying because you can just easily dodge projectiles at that type of distance. So yeah, this is easily an F tier in my opinion. Next up, we got Sandtown. Sandtown needs no introduction, and it's an S tier. It's just a simple small map, big middle area. Again, I feel like maps that have small spawn areas with big but slightly congested middle areas are like really good maps, and Sandtown is a great example of that. There's about a few different spawns. I know people spawn in the corner near like that stairwell, and then of course you got the plane that crashes and makes that little platform so you can get on top of the map, and it gets really chaotic on this map, of course. Another good map for 1v1s as well. Next up, we got Street Corner 2, the successor to Street Corner. Honestly, is better than the original Street Corner, because the original Street Corner, about half the map was like under the ground, but on this one, the top half of the map is actually better than the bottom half, so people don't just stay on one side most of the time. People will come up to the top because that's where all the action is going to be. And honestly, the top parts are really good because it's kind of really out in the open, and you can see a lot of enemies and kill a lot of targets within a small amount of time, and that's why I like it. Now we got Tuscan. Tuscan, I would give Tuscan an S tier as well. Again, mostly the middle takes up the map, and it has small spawn areas. One of the spawns is kind of broken, this spawn right here next to this tree. You can literally witness enemies just spawning there and just shoot them, because you can be far away from the spawn but also see the spawn, and that's why it thinks there's nobody near there and you can just pick people off. But the middle area just gets really chaotic, especially with the two insides of the buildings. People just snipe each other across the map and it's really funny. I like to camp behind that little cash register area and nobody suspects that I'm there, and it can be a really funny troll sometimes. Villa, I'd give Villa an S tier as well, and this is the final map. It recently got a rework, and honestly, I don't think the rework itself was really necessary, but it worked out fine, and it actually might have made the map better. Overall, they just added like more windows and stuff, and like more ways to cut through like the backs of the map, and I think that makes it more unique. There's a lot of different ways to get to enemy spawns, there's a lot of ways to cut through the middle, and there's some higher areas and lower areas, especially the staircase, where people always pre-fire, and it's really chaotic and unpredictable, and that's why it's one of the best maps in Arsenal. So yeah, these are all the Arsenal maps that are currently in the game. I couldn't find that one that has the house in the middle of it. I forgot what it was called, and I can't find it on the wiki or in the game, so just let me know if you know what it is, and let me know if I missed any maps. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. See you.